Need to upload videos to YouTube. This needs to be. It was me all along. Let's go ahead and throw this down before I load everybody in. Yeah, I needed to do that because we don't get a lot of people here. All right. The Necronus, you now have a VIP courtesy of J-Dog. But it timed you out, right? How long did it time you out for? 10 seconds. You should be back now. But yeah, you can't post links without VIP. So. Subscription VIP. It's not. There's no income off this. I don't. VIP has no income. What did I just watch? Exactly. Look, I pretty much narrated it. I pretty much narrated it. I was pretty on. Pretty dead on. I was like, what? Why is this happening? This is not. Yeah. I'd rather you didn't, Shane. I don't know how many I have left. I only have a certain number of slots, and I can't remember how many there. So. Yeah, it lasts for a month, and then I have to manually add it, and then I watch this little page over here, and when it says last month, then I remove it. Because that tells me you had it last month. It's time for me to remove it. So I have to manually add and remove. What does VIP do? Basically, it makes it the big thing is you can post links as long as they're not, they still have to be appropriate links. And the bot doesn't get as mad at you about stuff like, did you have too many caps in that, or did you have too many emojis? It doesn't get as mad over that kind of stuff. Sam, yours is processed. Sit and notice. No, I'm not. I would rather just get rid of it and nobody gets VIP than have to micromanage all of that stuff. This is not a thing that Twitch does automatically. Again, I have to do all this by hand. So we get them in the last week of the month. No, it's tracking. It's tracking once it's like over 30 days. It says they got it a month ago. It tracks the number of days. So like Ovium and the Lurking Rider up to theirs yesterday, right? But Dance Lover up there was 8 days ago. Texag 25 days ago. Garbled for Life and Niscus last month. So at the end of this stream, you're booted. You're booted. And Monday you can redo it. And it's better to just wait until Monday to redo it than to like re-up it, because you get extra days that way, right? Well, I know Necronus, but it's like, but everybody else tried. All of those other movies tried to look like him too, and it was like, and both the guys in that cab, pretty much they look like they could be the same person, but from different angles. But from different angles. No, I'm not doing it. I'm rejecting. I'm rejecting. Rejected. No, I'm not playing this game with VIP. Another gold chest. These. Nothing. I want to get out of the BBEG chest. Well, we got another epic for homebrew. What? And a potion of speed. What? At least it landed on one of the things that was green. Double epic. Sources of corpses and homebrew. Not that I'm ever really going to use homebrew, but you know, it's fun. Homebrew is the one that's like the more potions you use, the stronger you get. Right, where's the gold chest there? No. I don't remember. Like, I mean, I remember from Flash going, I remember Flash. That's all I remember. I don't remember the actual show or anything that happened in it. Man, I used to hate it when I worked at Geico and people would call in and say, "Can I talk to the gecko?" Nope. Or then you'd quote them and they go, "That didn't save me 15%." The ads don't say it does. I couldn't say that, but it's like you had to say it in a more drawn out way. But it's like it's not what the ads say. This tells me you have no comprehension of what ads like. When people say things to you, you don't understand what they're saying to you. You can't process. They think, I wish I'd known that at the beginning. I wouldn't have spent so much time with you. You get so over it. You get so over it when when all you're doing is answering sales calls all day long in a call center. Better than doing outbound calls, though, let me tell you. But still, cold calling is I've never done it. Don't want to do it ever. They don't even do that anymore. It's just all robocalls now. So. Later in the show, the truck got an upgrade. The lights on the side of the trailer started strobing front to back, and then the truck disappeared. What the hell was going on with that show? I don't understand. That's probably one of those guilty pleasure shows. Like, if you sat down and watched it, it's probably so bad you're fascinated with how bad it is. Ooh, they asked to talk to the gecko. How would you respond without sounding exhausted and condescending? I don't know. I don't know that I did. I don't know that I didn't sound exhausted and condescending. There's a reason. The second I could get off the phones and transfer into a different part of the company, I did. Honestly, if I could have transferred, where I really wanted to transfer into was underwriting. They wanted me. That department wanted me because I'm really good at processing work. Highly accurately. I had licenses for over 30 states. I could knock stuff out. I rotated through their department once. as part of like this program, and yeah, they were like, yeah, give us them, please. Um, didn't happen for stupid reasons. And yeah, finally I got out into the internet team. Still, not a whole lot better. Not a whole lot better. But it wasn't phone calls, at least. I could have headphones on and be listening to whatever I wanted while doing live chat with a customer, while also processing paperwork, like processing policies and sending out quotes that got stuck in the system, while also answering emails. Like multitasking like that, I was really good at that. But even that did, like, made decent money, but the management is garbage. They treat people like just horrible. Like, middle management out there, just don't treat people like garbage, and they'll stick around. But treat people like garbage. It doesn't matter how much money you pay them. They're gonna leave. They're gonna leave. And yeah, why do that? Why do that to someone that I worked there for like over 6 years? I don't know. They don't care. Yeah, they had the caveman and they had the gecko. I don't know which came first, but they had both. The caveman was worse because, well, I think the gecko was first, and then they did the caveman, and that was worse because we would get people. I was on the internet team then, so yeah, the gecko was first because we would get live chat, and the live chat would pop up, and I would respond to a live chat for someone, and they'd go, "So what I'm understanding is you think I'm stupider, you think I'm dumber than a caveman because I can't use your internet website." And I couldn't respond with, "Well, then clearly you are." Because the commercial said so easy a caveman can do it, right? Which immediately insulted anyone that couldn't do it. And then they'd message us or just hate the company forever. It was really bad. I mean, it was good advertising in the sense that drove people to the website. It was bad in the sense that the website wasn't so easy a caveman could do it. And you were insulting anyone that couldn't fill it out. Yeah. Yeah. They were an interesting company to work for when I first started working there, and then they had this kind of foundational shift in how they approached sales, and after that I was like, wow, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. This is garbage. This is garbage. Well, it doesn't mean it's Orion. I get it. It doesn't mean it's okay. It doesn't mean it should happen. It was funny because I took. I mean, I came in with a degree. I had a bachelor's degree already. I had experience with management, like 3 years managing the whole thing. Came in. I just wanted to work on the phones, but then eventually I took their supervisory management classes, like internal classes. Um, Went through highest scores on the tests of anyone in the class that was coming through. Um, but the stuff they were teaching in the class is not the way they wanted you to interact with management or even be as a manager. And so that created this, disconnect where uh, they basically were like, well, we don't want you, because I'm like, well, this is what you're teaching. This is how we should be doing this stuff. And they're like, well, we like to do this. And it's like, but that's not what you taught us. And so instead of coming out of that and getting into some kind of supervisory position or like stepping up some way, I'd just right back into the regular workforce. And like, yeah, nobody from our class went anywhere because they couldn't put somebody else up into management if they couldn't move the top person up, like they know they would have gotten in trouble for that, so they just didn't move. They didn't. Nobody from that class went anywhere. And I was like, this is stupid. Like when you go through your own internal training for management, and you do super well, and then they're like, well, we're not going to make your management. Even though they've got this horrible disconnect in their management policies. I was not there a whole lot longer. You're going to 450? I forgot. This is the final tier 2 one. We got a ways to go. It's made more painful because we don't have Shandy. That's really it. We don't have Briv. We don't have Whittle. We're missing some solid speed champions at the moment. And I don't want to... We got 45 minutes, and we got about 40 minutes left in the stream. I don't want to pop more of these just to get it done faster, because then we're done. But yeah, I don't know. We're almost halfway there. It'll be fine. Talking to myself. It'll be fine, Garwell. Relax.
Renzo thanks his sidekick.
Illuminator, thank you for the Twitch Prime sub. Much appreciated. At least there was training. I mean, it doesn't matter if they didn't do anything. But my training for management at Casey's was, here's how to print on both sides of the paper without taking out the paper. So I've worked so many jobs, folks. At one point in college, I would come home to wherever my parents were living at the time and get a summer job. I would work in the summer and the winter, usually wherever, because summer, you're home for like 3 months. Winter, for my school, was a month and a half if you weren't taking what they called winter session, which was a month of concentrated classes, like 5 days a week for 4 weeks, that could get you a credit, right? I only did that once, so the rest of the time I would just take 6 weeks off. So 6 weeks of getting a paycheck somewhere. And then, 3 months over the summer, right? One summer I came back and my parents had moved to, some other place. And my mom was working at like the local Kmart, where K stands for quality. And they were like, I guess she had asked around, like, is there anything my son could do for just a summer break? And they were like, well, like the warehouse could use some help. Like, so they're just, shipping and receiving in the back, just to help like the 2 people back there. I guess, maybe, I don't know why. They're just to help them get stuff done, because they were maybe a little behind or something. So I got a summer job working in shipping and receiving. And the first week, one of the big things that happens, like once a week, a big tractor trailer, a big semi truck would show up. And the first thing we did in the morning is unload. And when I say the morning, I mean like the first 4 to 5 hours of the shift. Like no one got to stop until it was done, depending on how big the trailer was and how full it was. So if we got like a full 50 footer with, or 52 or however long they were, and it was full, that was maybe 6 hours of unloading before anyone could think to stop and have lunch. Like you can't take a break, right? And usually the very back of the truck, like after everything else was out, in the very back would be stuff on pallets. Most of this early stuff would be loose, ridiculous, not bound. Like you couldn't just pull it out on a pallet. So the unloading was, we had this like almost like a conveyor belt, but it was just rollers, and we'd move it out, like snake it out into the back of the truck, and the truck driver's just unloading, and one of us would get up there, and the other 2 are or taking it off and putting it on pallets and moving pallets around inside. It was a lot of work. Needless to say, I got in pretty good shape every summer because of that. Because just lots of picking stuff up and moving stuff, and it was multiple times a week, right? Like there was one big truck a week usually, and then there were other trucks. But you were constantly having to unload and do stuff, right? But the very first week, I remember it was basically, I feel like they were both basically considered supervisors. They'd been there so long, and it was just depending on, they just didn't have anyone else working, so they were both high enough that they were the superiors. And one of them tossed me the keys and was like, here, go unload the rest of the truck after we had done everything. And it was the keys to the forklift. I'd never driven a forklift in my life. There was no training. Just here, go. You go to college. Go unload the rest of the truck in the forklift. So I had to go get the forklift out, figure out how to start it, figure out how to move it, get it to move back and forth and turn, then figure out how to get the blades to go up and down, and then figure out like there was an angle to them you could adjust. And like I had to do all of that, and then empty the rest of the truck. Like basically the person in the truck would use a pallet jack, bring the pallet to the back of the truck, and then I'd have to take it and put it somewhere. I had to learn that all on my own. Wilminator, I'm getting to that. Fast forward to the next summer. So I was the one that unloaded trucks all summer long, and then in the winter I came back and I unloaded the trucks whenever I was there. I was the one that was driving the forklift. Fast forward to the next summer when they finally were hiring somebody. They were transferring someone out of the garden shop into shipping and receiving to be a supervisor because someone was retiring. And they're like, just work with him. He knows how to do everything. He'll train you. So I was literally having to train my supervisor. And, and so I'm like, so I did just what they did. It's first day. I'm like, here's the keys. Here's the keys to the forklift. Go and let it. And he's like, oh no, I'm not allowed to do that. I haven't taken my test and gotten my license yet. And I'm like, excuse me, what? I'm like, there's a test? Are we supposed to have a license? He's like, yeah, don't you have yours? And I'm like, no, they just gave me the keys on like the first truck that we did, and I had to go unload it. He was like, oh. And I was like, yeah, all right, well anyway, I'm gonna go unload it. And then I went and got the forklift, unloaded the trailer. Yeah. After he got his license, I didn't unload the trucks anymore with the forklift. Yeah. So yes, you do need a Wilminator. You need a forklift license here in the U.S. too. They just didn't care. They're like, this kid's only working here in summer and winter breaks. We're not gonna get him a license. But the other kid, when they were promoting the other kid to supervisor, and I had to train him, he was going to be working full time. So they're like, oh, he'll get a license. I'll get a license. Oh, God. But yeah, someday there were days where I worked that we were so busy. The truck was so packed. I'd start the shift off. The truck would be waiting. We'd lift the doors, set everything up, unload for 6.5 hours. And then by law, it was an hour break and then 2 15-minute breaks. So after 6.5 hours, I just went and sat in the break room for an hour and a half and watched TV. Clocked in and out for my lunch, watched TV, and then left. Like I was done. Like, because you couldn't stop and take a break while you're unloading the truck. It was ridiculous. So yeah, there wasn't. It was interesting. There were a lot of days where basically the last hour of my shift was me just clocking out for lunch, sitting in the break room, watching TV for an hour, then clocking back in, and then immediately clocking out of work and going home. because I couldn't just leave and go. I couldn't just go to be like, I'm out of here early. You had to clock in and out, and then back in again, or out and in, and then back out again. Yeah, and this was well, yeah, if you weren't aware, this was before YouTube. Yeah, this was 95, summer of 1995. YouTube was not a thing. The internet was barely a thing. If you're scheduled less than 8 hours, yeah, you don't. Well, you don't have to do it. Well, it depends. I think it depends on the state. There's some that if you work over like it's not less than 8 hours. It's if you work more than like 5 hours, you have to have a lunch or something. It depends on the state. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I could have gotten a license, but I would have liked to have had a forklift license. I would have liked it if they had gotten me a forklift license. They just didn't want to. They didn't want to go through the hassle of getting the summer temp a forklift license. I could have used that. Yeah, I could probably still use that. Driving a forklift is easy and fun and fun. Hey, Arky, catching us at the end of the stream. We got about 30 minutes left. Yeah, yeah. Oh, farms. Oh, farms. Yeah. No. Farms where child labor is acceptable, at least around here, right? Oh, you grew up on the farm. Get them, go work. Everybody got to work. Wait, but child labor laws are thinking, shut up. It's a family farm. Everybody works. Like, Nice, Necronus. Yeah, they didn't even pretend. They didn't even tell me to pretend. But to be fair, no one ever came into the back. No one wanted to be in the back. No one wanted to come to shipping and receiving. The only people that ever came into shipping and receiving really were the stock clerks, like the people that had to come stock stuff. And they were all like, yeah, none of them cared. But management never came back to shipping and receiving. Well, the companies may not care, but there's a requirement, usually by law, that if someone is operating a forklift, they have to be licensed, like certified, whatever. It doesn't. It's you have to have gone through the thing for safety reasons. And I get it because you can kill someone with that thing. You can absolutely. You got to at least pretend like you're not an absolute failure. As long as you do that, they'll give you your certification. Have you been driving a forklift for months? Well, I mean, I've never done it just full time. So for me, it was the fun part because, I just did manual labor, unloading boxes and stacking them up on pallets for 5 hours. Now I get to sit on a comfy forklift seat and just push some levers and hit a gas pedal. It was great. It was great. Tractor driving at age 8. Oh no, I know. I lived. Look, I grew up in the middle of nowhere in Oklahoma. I wasn't kidding when I said everybody works on a farm. I know. Yeah, I mean, I could. There's like pictures of me at like 4 or 5, at the helm of a sailboat. No one else in sight, right? Just my parents would, because there'd only be three of us. They'd park me at the wheel and be like, just aim for that, and they'd go, do sails and lines and everything, and then come back. Like, well, okay, 4, 5. People, they're yeah. And any place nowadays, I'm like, any place that if I were to work at a warehouse and they just ignored OSHA, I'd just be like, nope, I'm not working here. Like, I understand now more than I did back when I was young. There's reasons for all this stuff. So many reasons. What are the? I'm trying to think. Because when I worked in labs, you had to have your binders with all your chemical stuff, so that in an emergency you could figure out what to do if someone got this chemical on them or that chemical. Everything had to be updated, and every time you got new chemicals, they had to be updated. You had to, the manuals had to be placed everywhere. You had to have your eye wash stations and your shower stations, and to test them regularly, and it mattered. Material safety data sheets, that's it. MSDS. You had to have your MSDS binders everywhere, But yeah, that goes back to the whole, don't mess with Gen X thing I said earlier. As a Gen Xer, I drank from a hose. I lit fireworks and waited until they got down as low as possible and competed with my friends to see how low you could get them before you threw them. We made bombs out of sparklers. We played with lawn darts. Yeah, lawn darts were a thing back then. We rode around in the back of pickup trucks. I mean, I don't mean in the back seat. I mean in the back of pickup trucks. Right? We didn't get forklift license. You didn't care what chemicals were at work. You worked under the table at jobs. I worked under the table at a job, which basically means I wasn't legally working there because I was a kid and I did not have a work permit as a minor, so they just put me to work and paid me under the table. Yeah, and it's all horror. Nope. Yeah, you'd get in the summer, you'd put out your slip and slide, but you'd have rocks in your yard, so you'd go and you'd dive and slide like hit a rock, hit a tree root. Like, nobody had the perfect. Only rich people had the soft lawns for slip and slides. Everyone else hurt themselves. Who thought that was a good idea? Yeah. Oh, shooting each other with pellets from BB gun fights. There were these morons. So one year, my dad and his best friend at the time ran the convenience store in the corner. Decided they were going to run a fireworks stand. And it was the convenience store was right across the street from this huge empty lot. And it's a vacation community, right? So in the summers, tons of tourists. And one night, a bunch of tourists rolled up. I don't know even where they came from. Yeah, they were in their 20s. And they started buying all of the... gotta get the right thing here. Oh, no. Roman candles. So the long tubes filled with the balls, and you light it, and normally you put it somewhere, and then it shoots the flaming balls into the air, and it's like, ooh, watch them burn. Ooh, watch them burn. They ran across the street, lit them, and started firing them at each other. and they had a Roman candle fight, and they just kept coming over until they bought like all the Roman candles. I don't know how they survived. How did they not like put an eye out? How did they not go to the hospital with third-degree burns? I have no idea. No idea to this day. I don't understand. They were literally shooting fireballs at each other. Yeah. One of the dumbest things I've ever seen, and they lived. I don't know why. I don't know why. Well, tourist means weekenders, like people who came from somewhere else in Oklahoma to stay for the weekend or for the holiday. Yeah, plot armor. Yeah. For some, they were the plot armor. That's in my story. They needed plot armor to live through it, I guess. Would have been way cooler if they'd been LARPing as wizards. Way cooler. One last gold chest. Oh, we must have looted one as well. Nope. Nope. Garbage. Nope. Don't care about any of this. Alright, so what am I going to need? We're going to need... Don't spread. I think I just want to do this aerial thing for real this time. I can only do one of them. We'll do the aerial ones. Alright, are we back? We're back. We're back. We completed it. 450 areas.